For the first time since 2012, there is growing talks about the possibility of a Grexit and the possibility of a Graccident, which is a new term. Do you think this is something which might happen?
It might happen. It's not at all desirable, but there is a real likelihood that it happens. If the Greek government does not make progress in putting on the table in the European Union a well-designed reform program which makes it possible for the other countries to say, yes, okay, this makes sense, let's go on.
Apart from that, there's also a financial component to this project, which will have to go through parliaments through Europe. Do you think that in this instance, a deal brokered under these terms would actually go through European parliaments, and especially the German one?
I'm very optimistic that if there is a reasonable reform program, the parliaments, the national parliaments, the German one as well, and the European Parliament would go with it. But it really depends on the reform program that is put on the table.
And speaking of reforms, there's great talk in regards to austerity versus reform. And which do you think are the reforms which are key to actually occurring in Greece, which would help alleviate this thing?
I think when you think of Greece, one has to divide the period since 2010 into the time of austerity and hopefully the prospective time of growth. Austerity has been dominant in the last 4 to 5 years. It has actually meant that wages in Greece went down by 25 to 30%, that unemployment rose, that many jobs were lost. But in 2014 already, there was a certain stabilization visible. So in a way, Greece has reached rock bottom in 2014. And to make the economy grow again and make it grow in a sustainable way, not having a bubble again, but in a sustainable way, the reforms have to come up, and these concern the bureaucracy in general, the administration, the tax system, and all the rest of it. So these are deep reforms which go into the structure of the economy and the structure of government. That is a matter not of months, but of years, maybe even decades. But this is the only way to get back on a growth track.
Is it the position of FDP that there should be a program which is based on reforms on the part of Greece for funds from the European Union to have a space so that they can actually occur?
Well, the European funds for investment and innovation can, of course, come in as an important help once decisive steps and programs are set up by the Greek government. That means the Greek government has to get away from the idea of a state-dominated economy and has to clearly recognize that the potential strength of the Greek economy is in small and medium-sized enterprises, which have to have better condition, political stability, administrative stability, less bureaucracy, and open markets, combined with a population which is well educated, especially among the young, so there is no bottleneck there. And once these conditions are set up, there's no reason why the economy should not grow again. And then, of course, one could support this process by appropriate targeted funds and credits from European institutions.
The Friedrich Naumann Foundation is quite active in Greece, especially in regards to the unemployment and youth. Could you tell us a bit about what your vision is for your actions here in Greece for the future?
We feel, this is my experience also as vice president of the Friedrich Naumann Foundation, that all over Europe, by the way, we have a new generation of young people which are basically globalized, who speak English, who want to have an open world, who want to have open markets, who want to go their own way, and who do not want to be molested all the time by a corrupt and incompetent government. These people we want to support. And in Greece, there has already been a conference in Thessaloniki in last autumn, and the general spirit of that conference, there's also a publication on it, was wonderful. It basically said, we stand ready to change this country. And let me tell you that I have made the same experience in many other places in Europe, in particular in Central and Eastern Europe, those societies which have also gone through a massive transformation. And it is now time to give these people the clout, the political clout, to change something. And that's what we have in mind as the Friedrich Naumann Foundation and as the Liberals, the political party which stands behind it in Germany. And also we have the same change, by the way, in Germany and in countries like Austria and all the rest of it.
And speaking of liberal forces, in Greece they're very weak currently, and there seems to be a lack of going forward, even though there seems to be need for such reforms.
Liberalism, politically speaking, is never a matter of a majority of the people. The liberals, even in a country like Germany, have always played a role as a party which is conceptually strong on an individualistic basis, which is a kind of power breaker for the parties which move masses. And this is why the Free Democrats in Germany have traditionally played a big role in the country's history since the Second World War. We have now been kicked out of Parliament, but we're going to go back there in 2017. We are working on it. That's a normal situation that liberals face, to be in a minority, but one should not be discouraged by that. Especially in times of massive change. In times of massive change, people begin to realize that you need new concepts, and you cannot rely all the time on the government, on the state, to pamper you. You have to go your own way, and that's our message.